Hi there, welcome back to Crazy Brave Homeschool. If you're new here, I'm Ashley, and this is my homeschool channel where I document our journey homeschooling my third grader and my kindergartner. This video is pretty casual, just sitting in bed, and I figured, well, I've got some time here. The next couple days are about to get real busy with the holidays, and so I figured I might just get this video up that I have been planning to shoot, which is all about homeschooling with a charter as a Charlotte Mason homeschool. I think that this is a topic that may definitely inspire plenty of homeschoolers out there who do adopt a Charlotte Mason inspired pedagogy for their homeschool, or Charlotte Mason homeschoolers who are extremely purist with their homeschool. And if they have charter school options in their state, this is definitely something that a lot of homeschoolers are interested in. One of the main reasons being that charter schools are typically publicly funded and by the state, and therefore you get funding for your students. Now, a little caveat here is that every state is so different with homeschool laws and with homeschooling options. I'm originally from Minnesota, and this surprised me, but Minnesota does not have publicly funded charter schools for homeschooling. I believe that they have charter schools, but oftentimes charter schools are an in-person kind of deal. There are private charter schools that are not affiliated with the state, and then there are public ones which have a lot of the same guidelines and schedules that a public school does. So for this video, just to make sure that you understand the type of charter school that we're in as Charlotte Mason homeschoolers, we are with a public charter school in California that does offer our family funding every year. Now, something else to mention is that I am sure the array of charter schools around the country, even the ones who are public, probably operate in different ways because the public school system is different state by state. And so I don't know that our experience will specifically resonate with yours or with the charter schools that are offered, the homeschool charter schools that are offered with your state. So I don't know that this will be incredibly helpful. But to California homeschoolers anyway, this might be, and I'm sure that it will resonate with others as well. Now, why would somebody even be interested in being a Charlotte Mason homeschooler with a charter? Well, that's because there are some, themes with a Charlotte Mason homeschool that might come head to head with a public charter. One of them being religion. So not all Charlotte Mason homeschoolers are religious. We are not. We're a very spiritual family, but we do not follow any specific doctrine. So for the families that are religious and for the curriculum options that are written by religious companies, a few of which we actually use very often, this is where you might find some complications with a public charter school. Because they're a public school, they will not fund any kind of religious content. The homeschool curriculum that you want to use your charter school funds for must be secular. Now, that doesn't mean that they catch it every time. There have been some purchases that definitely have religious content in them. Not ones that we've bought for those reasons. We just, there's some materials that I want as a Charlotte Mason homeschooler that happen to be religious in some ways. And sometimes the charter school doesn't always catch it. So when that happens, that's kind of nice. But that is something that may pose an issue. If you are a Christian Charlotte Mason homeschooling family, not being able to use some of the companies you want to use can be an issue. For us next year, that has surfaced as a problem because we are going to be using Alviary for our curriculum next year for the majority of it. Alviary is a Christian company. And they also operate mostly on a membership basis. So this is where homeschooling with a charter has been an issue because A, they are not going to purchase materials from religious materials, and B, because they do not purchase memberships, which is pretty frustrating because there are some really cool memberships out there like Hearth Magic. Hearth Magic on Etsy is like a Waldorf resource, and they have a membership, like a family membership, where you can pay an annual fee and have access to all their materials. So that's an example. As with the Alvieri, their yearly membership is not covered. So we have had to pay for that out of pocket. But because Charlotte Mason Homeschooling is that important to me, and because I really want to use that company, I am fine paying for that out of pocket. Now, this is the cool thing though, is that they will buy all of the materials that you need. So all of our books and art supplies and science kits and things like that will be purchased by our charter school, even though they are materials for a Charlotte Mason curriculum. There have only been 1 or 2 books that they have not bought because they have religious content, but otherwise everything else was purchased. So that typically is not an issue being a Charlotte Mason homeschooler with the charter when it comes to your books and materials and school supplies and everything like that. That's fine. Now, kind of shifting gears from the purchasing and like the funding or whatever. One of the main reasons that people might be interested in how Charlotte Mason homeschooling works with the charter is because the pedagogies between a Charlotte Mason education and a public school education tend to differ quite a bit. And when it comes to charter schools, the reason you're getting that funding is because they have a lot of requirements of, the ways in which you need to homeschool to receive that funding. Now, this is where I imagine that a lot of schools are different, even the public charter schools, because every state is different. So I don't want to speak for every publicly funded charter school, but I'll just tell you a bit about our experience thus far being Charlotte Mason homeschoolers and the requirements that we have had to meet with this public charter school. So please keep in mind, my kids are young. They are 3rd grade and kindergarten. And I think that plays a big factor in the requirements that need to be met with the public charter because they're lenient in the beginning. And again, I just can't keep saying this enough. Every charter is probably different. So what is required of us, I think, is really light in these early years. This may very well change in high school or middle school probably. But for TK through 3rd grade that we have been with the charter, they only need to submit 1 sample a month from the subject from that learning period. So our learning periods are around, 4 to 5 weeks long. And within that learning period, they will elect a subject that you need to submit a sample for. So say the first learning period of the year might be language arts, and you only need to send in 1 sample per child for that subject. Learning period number 2 might be like math, or it might be social studies, or it might be science. They only do the 4 subjects. Now, this was sort of a learning curve in the beginning because we had actually unschooled my kindergartner and then I put her in 1st grade with the charter. And because we were starting 1st grade with a Charlotte Mason methodology in mind. So we were Charlotte Mason coming off of unschooling. So you can imagine my 1st grader was not really at the reading level that the charter school preferred her to be. And that was really one of the only major challenges of kind of keeping up with what they required. Because really all that happened, really it was just my own personal insecurities about being behind. But really all that they required is, they didn't require it, but all that they encouraged was intervention, like getting her a reading tutor, or using some supplements that they recommended using. And I was fine doing some of that, and we did it and everything worked out. It's not a big deal. The way that they assess the child's reading level is through a beginning of the year and an end of the year test. So this would be like, for us, it was the STAR 360. I don't know if that's like a nationwide test or if it's just in California. But that assessed her reading level. And then they also have a STAR 360 test for math. So in the beginning until fourth grade, the children are only taking a math and literacy, like reading literacy test, at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. So that aside from us getting a little bit of a late start with reading, being a Charlotte Mason homeschooler really didn't hurt us in any way in terms of meeting the charter school's requirements. I actually find that Charlotte Mason math is right on par with, if not even a little bit advanced, with public school math. So we've never like even though it's gentle in some ways because it's so heavy on number sense, if anything, it pushed my kids forward. It never held them back. Now, I think when it comes to reading, because Charlotte Mason is a little more gentle on the reading in some ways, that may be one of the only times where you and the charter school may just clash for a little while, but only for a little while because kids are going to catch up, and by third or fourth grade, Charlotte Mason readers are reading fluently. So, yeah, and it really only took, so there's a homeschool facilitator that you'll have, which is like a mentor. And, they're on your side, but then they also need to make sure that you're doing what you need to do to be in line with the charter school requirements. And so really, I would just express to my mentor or my homeschool facilitator our philosophies. And this charter school has respected the fact that there are many different homeschool philosophies. They respect if you are unschooling, if you are Charlotte Mason, if you are Waldorf, if you are Montessori, if you're traditional. They respect all of that. And in fact, they have a lot of resources for different pedagogies of homeschool. And that's great. Again, don't know if every charter school is like that, but ours has been really willing to work with us in the way we want to teach. Now, when it comes to like the samples that I'm sending in, I did find that in first grade, they really were expecting the language arts samples and actually pretty much all of them to have the child's writing. And, in public school and kindergarten and first grade, children are learning to write. With Charlotte Mason, writing is a little bit different. You are doing handwriting instruction, but children are not really writing like sentences and stuff out on their own yet in first grade. They are doing copy work, but with the charter school, they actually don't allow copy work as a sample, which is kind of interesting. So that part was a little trickier. They do accept handwriting lessons. So if you were to submit a worksheet page with just handwriting lessons, like writing your A's and your B's and your C's or whatever, they do accept that. But for whatever reason, they don't accept copy work. That just really doesn't make any sense to me now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway, so I don't know, but you guys, my daughter's in third grade now, and we got through those language arts samples just fine. I did try to send in a oral narration, so it was my handwriting, but her narration with an illustration. And we were told that we really do need to see the child's handwriting. And so then I just included a handwriting, workbook page. When it comes to social studies and science samples, what's really nice is that there's, with our charter school anyway, there's a lot of freedom in terms of the content that you are teaching and in terms of the material. So it's not like they're going to say, for social studies this month, we want to see something revolved around community workers, that your children are learning about police officers and firemen and things like that. It's never like that. They have never required us to send in something specific like that. It just has to be something that represents the subject of social studies. or science. Now, what's cool is that they give you a lot of ideas on like projects you can do for your sample or worksheets or just like lessons. But oftentimes the examples that they give us don't align with Charlotte Mason. And, once in a while, if I had to like use a worksheet or whatever, it's fine. But I would typically just do what we do and try to implement some of my daughter's handwriting into the sample. And honestly, it was fine. It's been fine every time. One other thing that we are kind of coming to head with pretty soon is that with our charter anyway, beginning in 3rd grade, children are required to take I don't know what it's called, but it's a writing assessment. So this is, I don't know what the assessment will look like, but I have a feeling that it will be geared around writing a body paragraph at least, if not a few. So I think that with this writing assessment, they want to see that the child knows how to outline an essay or write a body paragraph that has the topic sentence with the key points and that sort of thing. We have not taught the mechanics of writing yet, and I do not plan on it. This is something that I've thought a lot about, and it's been like the hardest aspect of Charlotte Mason for me to surrender to and to trust until recently, until just doing enough reading and watching on Charlotte Mason's principles for me to feel comfortable, because I am a writer and I did learn how to write in the traditional sense in a public school. I won't say I enjoyed all the mechanics, but it worked fine for me. But I really love the Charlotte Mason approach of oral narration and then written narration, and then composition starting around grade 7, and learning the different types of reading or the different types of writing around grade 9, and starting to edit your own narrations, and then doing much more specific composition assignments into high school. I feel really excited about taking this route with writing, but this will be probably the biggest clash with our charter school. I have told our homeschool facilitator that we will take the written assessment, but that this is the route that we're taking with writing, and I won't change it. So it's possible that if my daughter does not do well on these written assessments, that they will encourage, if not require, intervention, which intervention just means like extra support. They might require that she does a little extra supplementation on top of whatever we're doing in homeschool. And here's the thing, I can say yes or no. We cannot get kicked out of our charter school. In fact, there's a lot of debate around this. I had considered not doing the STAR 360 assessments for reading because we had chosen a different method with teaching reading in the beginning. We were pressured for sure to take the assessments. And it was insinuated that you would be uncompliant is that the word? Uncompliant, if we did not take them. But I do not believe that we can get kicked out of the charter school for not complying with the assessments. But I've just found it easier to just do it. And if your child doesn't do well, then that's fine. I've never made the assessments a big deal for my kids before. And with the written assessment, if we just do it in our Charlotte Mason way and it doesn't really meet the standards of where she should be at, that's fine. We just do it and we keep moving forward. So there has to be a degree of, I think, security in yourself, in your homeschool, and courage to be a Charlotte Mason homeschool with a charter in some of these ways. Now, you can be Charlotte Mason inspired and not follow all of the principles to a T, and you would probably be just fine. Maybe you bring in writing instruction early on and you teach your children how to write an outline in the 3rd grade, and still be a Charlotte Mason homeschool. But for us anyway, that is one area where I am trying to be as pure as possible with her methodology. And that's pretty much it. Like, I'm trying to think if there are any other specifics to Charlotte Mason homeschooling that would clash with the charter. But all in all, it's honestly been like a fairly seamless experience, aside from just like my own insecurities with like when and how to teach reading. And then we'll see how I handle this writing assessment coming up this year. I think it's in the spring. I think what has really helped me in feeling more confident and secure in teaching in sort of this different kind of way with a public charter school is that everything has worked out just fine. I was worried about the reading thing, and now she's completely caught up. She's at a 3rd grade reading level. Her comprehension is fantastic. The writing is coming along in this Charlotte Mason way. Her writing is great. It's just not taught in the traditional way. But it really just doesn't seem like a big issue to me anymore. I have a lot of confidence moving forward with the charter. I anticipate we will stay with the charter for for both of my kids' entire school experience. And I do not see us walking away from Charlotte Mason. I see that being our methodology the whole way through too. So I'm happy to do an update on this in a couple of years to see if the two still work hand in hand. But I hope this has given you some peace of mind that if you are looking to partner up with a charter school for your homeschool and you are a Charlotte Mason homeschooler, it is absolutely possible. And if you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments. I'm happy to chat down there. Okay, take care.